It's time to go inside Florida State football. This is the Jimbo Fisher Show. The Jimbo Fisher Show is brought to you by the Florida Lottery, proud sponsor of FSU Athletics. The Florida Department of Transportation, drive sober or get pulled over. The energy-saving conservation programs of Tico Peoples Gas. Camping World and Good Sam, your one-stop shop for everything RV. Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste and 0 calories. The Gem Collection, finest quality jewelry, extraordinary service, and the best possible prices. SunTrust, the official bank of the Florida State Seminoles. Nick's Toggery, provider of Coach Fisher's wardrobe. By visitflorida.com. Hello and welcome to the Jimbo Fisher Show. The news continues to be good for Florida State. The Seminoles get a top 25 opponent in town in Maryland, and Coach, your team played about as well as they possibly could, both sides of the ball, really all phases, and you get a resounding 63-zip win over the Terps.
Very proud of our guys. I thought we were focused from start to finish, that we played every play with a lot of urgency, and a lot of immediacy and intensity, and then I thought defense really stole the show to me in special teams. I thought both groups did an outstanding job, and then offense got hot and did what it had to do.
You said after the Boston College game that looking back, it hadn't been the best week of practice, and that showed in that game. This week, much better week of practice, and lo and behold, it shows in the game too.
I liked our preparation. I liked our attention to detail during the week, and I thought the kids were more focused, and sometimes it does. It takes a little of a, you're not as good as you thought you were going to be the week before, and you pick that up. But hopefully we've learned that lesson now, and we don't have to go back through that, because that can cost you a football game.
Awful lot of highlights when you win in such resounding fashion. And we'll take a look at those highlights when we get started right after this on the Jimbo Fisher Show. Welcome back to the Jimbo Fisher Show. Maryland comes in number 25 in the country. Coach, they were unbeaten. Your team obviously was ready to play as we get right into the highlights. It was a beautiful day for football and a really good performance for your team.
It really was. Actually, a lot warmer on Saturday than it was during the week. I mean, I actually got a little worried for a second. Now I said that humidity was going to be a factor in this ball game. That was always good for us. Great job, but Roberto again had a nice day. Defense did a great job. They got the first down right here. Then we got it. After that, we got the 3 and out. Got the little guy getting the flat right there. Terrence Smith played an outstanding. Good to have Mario Edwards back too. Mario getting back in the ball game. I thought played a very good game. He and Eddie Goldman, Timmy Jernigan all played extremely well. Telvin, there's a great tackle. I think that was P.J. Williams and Jalen Ramsey did a great job in secondary. Brooksy played well. The first drive, we were happy. Nice block right there by KB. Kenny Shaw had another outstanding game, just doing so many little things, boy, just making plays. We had a little snag route right here. Good KB getting a little play action, got it going and mixing the ball around. He's making good decisions. And we used the backs. We found the backs in the flat a lot yesterday. And they were taking some things inside away, and James was dumping the ball off. And great outside seal, great block by Giorgio and Nick O'Leary right there in the left guard. Josue Matias and fullback Chad Abrams, great job. Get a little 3rd and 10, get a great conversion here. Good blitz pickup by Devontae Freeman and Nick O'Leary. I thought had an outstanding. Had 2 touchdowns on the day, 4 catches, played very well. Again here, dumping it back in the flats. Boy, I thought Devontae was going to get in right there. Almost got to the 1. We need to go ahead and get that thing in there. But then we pop a little stretch play in right here, and Carlos makes it into the end zone. And we got a first drive, which was very critical. I like to stretch that thing just a little bit more, but to make it have walked it in. Another good kickoff. Now this one kickoff here, I think that wasn't this one. I don't think one of them they pop out of here decently. It might be. It is this one. And we got him at the 32, 33, and then we started playing good D. We've got good pressure on the quarterback. Contested all throws in the middle. That's Telvin Smith guarding the receiver down the middle of the field in zone. Great job. Telvin's so athletic. Now they get a dump off here underneath. But again, I thought what we did yesterday, we tackled well in space. We stepped on their toes, hit on the rise, did the things we had to do fundamentally. Terrence Smith, I thought, had an outstanding ball game. Got to start in the ball. Great tip right here by Jacoby McDaniel. All 5'11" and a half, 6 foot of him. Jumped up there and tipped that ball. Devontae Freeman on a good, boy, Devontae's running hard. Playing really well. Get a little option play here. They're playing it. But still tuck it up in there, get 5 or 6 yards. You know, what that does to your blitz packages and things really helps. People know you got that. Here it is, looking down the field. He dumps off to his 3rd receiver on a 3rd down read, and we get the first down, which is very critical. Did a good job on 3rd down yesterday. Here, just a hair off on the go outside. He couldn't get enough on it and wanted to stick it in the hole a little more. They had the first 2 routes covered, so he went to number 3. Tell you what we did, too, in the pass rush. Jacoby right there. Niall Lawrence had a nice job. Christian Jones did a real nice job at the end. Kept the integrity of the pocket. Didn't let the quarterback scrambles hurt us. Did a great job, gap control, eye control. Except for about 4 plays in the game, we were great with our eyes. About 4 times in the game, we got a little greedy at times, but man, we play so much better. And here, we had a bad snap. We had this series right here, and we found that's where Stork had gotten banged in the head a series or 2 before. We didn't know it, and he played through it. And then we got to watching him and realized we had to get him out of the ball game. He had a couple bad snaps, which is very uncharacteristic. Right. The guy's had an outstanding year. So I think he'll be all right here in another week or so, and we're ready to play. Great throw and catch by them. Very good play. Darby, not bad coverage. They just went over the top again here, but look at us play those runs and take on those blockers. A much better job. And they go again. They tried to reverse trick pass. We get 2 guys back here, PJ, and then there's Jalen Ramsey reversed and got back on top of it. Great job on the trick play. They had a lot of things ready for us. Our defense did a great job. For a young safety, a guy that's only played it 2 or 3 times, that's tough. And then they get the field goal. They hit the upright. Then we got the momentum, and then we start taking control of the ball game. Here we get a little naked play. They have it. I like seeing. I thought we could have found that tight end right there. But we get a yard or 2. And then we get James is back in the pocket. They get pressure. This is one of the times they did on 3rd down. They got us. I thought we could have got it out of there. We're looking at the film, but we might have had one guy we could have got it to. But again, punt is a good play sometimes. You get 40 yards for it, especially when you're playing defense like we are. Job by Jacoby right here. Great job, Telvin Smith. Guys are staying in their gaps, being physical. Play action. This is a great catch by them. LaMarcus had that covered, and Diggs, who's a great player, went back up underneath him and went up and got the high point of that ball, made a great play. Christian Jones holding his point there. You got Jacoby back in the game. There's Telvin back in the game. But you guys just making plays. Now here's Austin Barron in the game. Now we get going. Get the ball to 80. A little crossing route inside. We get about 13. We get the momentum in the offense, and we start rolling here just a little bit. We're getting a rhythm. And a big 3rd down pickup. Great throw on a seam route right down the chute. And again, Rashad Green and Jameis has a way to finding him when we need big plays. Here we go. Jameis checked this off. We got a nice stretch run out here. Monte Freeman running the ball exceptionally well, playing hard physical football. I liked it. And then gets a nice run up inside, brought by Chad Abrams, Bobby Hart there, Cam Irving, Josue, Trey Jackson, Austin Barron. Look at the block. I mean, perfect. Safety's the unblocked guy, and like I say, you're on scholarship running back. You got to break the tackle. Then we bloop one here to this, and we had this plan. Man, we should have Telvin daggone. We got to work on those hands. We could have got some onside right there and hit it perfect. Now, I tell you what we did here. You talk about keeping leverage on the football. And there's Timmy Jernigan running inside out and just crush it. That's a great job by PJ to allow that play to happen. Great job, Christian Jones. And here's the play, one shot. I hope their quarterback's all right. I thought the hit was legal. I thought it was a very good hit. It was a physical hit, and hope he's okay. Darby there, we got to hang on that football. Mario Edwards, nice corner throw. We jumped the flat. There's 3rd and 13 as a corner. PJ's got to play that a little deeper and react up to the flat throw and not give it. Oh! And then he about had it. That was been pick 6 again this week. He about come underneath, played it well. Got to work on those hands. Then we get the option, get it pitched outside after we had a holding call, and nice job. We get about 9 or 10 of it back, and that's a great play to add to your arsenal, just to mix it in every now and then. Now we get the cross. They're doubling 80, who had that crossing route earlier, but they leave Nick one-on-one on the option route. Great job by Nick being physical, doing things, and getting his shoulder down, being near leg, near shoulder. Now we hit the dump down to KB underneath on the 3rd receiver, and that KB does a great job of running. Boy, he's running good routes, big target. We get the flat route out here again to Devontae, makes a nice move, one-on-one in space, almost scores. He's playing great football, catching, pass blocking, running, doing everything. Then we get the touch. Then we get the ball back out here to Kenny Shaw. He's the outlet. We had a double move downfield, and he's our outlet on the play. He's just checking the ball. And that's what I'm proud about Jameis. He's checking that ball down to all of his guys, not forward. Great play action here. Then we get the ball up high, the big guy, and let him go get it. And that's a hard matchup for anybody when that guy goes across the middle. Look at the ball. He's up there around the crossbar. If it goes out of the back of the end zone. That was a big score. Put us up 3 scores right before the half. And again, scoring before the half and then having the ball coming out the second half, very critical.
Yeah, and your team's been perfect in those opportunities this year. So 21-0 at intermission. Go back as we take a look at the big play from the first half brought to us by Gem Collection. And it's not one of the touchdowns, but it's a key 3rd down throw.
It was.
Jameis to Rashad Green.
It was 7-0. We had a 3rd and 10. We were driving, and we had a route to Kenny outside, and then Rashad's an underneath, alternate route underneath, and Jameis come off in the read and got a vertical down the seam to him and hit it on a big 3rd and 10. It converted and got us down the red zone. We went in and scored and got the 2nd touchdown, and then just got that flow of the game. We really felt comfortable. Austin was in the game, feeling very good, and then we got on a roll and scored a bunch of points.
Jameis, and you've commented on this, just sees the middle of the field so well.
Well, when you can attack inside out, that's when you know a guy can read coverages and understands, because that's where the defense is pro. When they can go inside out, when you only can throw outside, and you leave the middle of the field open, it's easy to defend. When you can go inside out and he can hit those guys and then dump it to the flats and get outside throws when he has to, that's critical. And usually you see that in older quarterbacks. He's doing a great job of making decisions in between the hashes.
Florida State with a 21-0 lead over Maryland at intermission. Still a lot of fireworks left in this one as it's a pivotal ACC game that goes Florida State's way. We'll take a look at the second half highlights in just a little bit. Stay with us right here on the Jimbo Fisher Show.
Buckle your chin straps. It's time for Inside the Helmet, presented by Napleton Infinity.
I'm Roberto Aguayo. I'm a redshirt freshman. I'm the kicker for Florida State, and I reside from Mascot, Florida.
40-yard field goal attempt. Roberto Aguayo, redshirt freshman from Mascot. Here's the kick. It is long enough, and it is good. And Roberto Aguayo continues to be perfect on the season.
Ever since I was little, I always grew up with a Nole fan, and I don't know. It's just when I got into high school, I was like, now that I'm getting recruited, like I would want to go to Florida State, but being realistic, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So that's why I kept it open. But when Jimbo gave me the offer, I committed on the spot, and I was like, I don't want to go anywhere else. But when I committed, they had my name on one of the bulletins on like a realtor place or something, and they were like, congratulations to Roberto Aguayo, the #1 kicker in the nation, for like committing. And I was like, wow. And everybody is rooting for me from down there, from my hometown and stuff. And it's glad to represent a small town that's never had anybody, like I should say famous, or anybody come out of there. It's a real honor. As soon as I started walking out the tunnel and heard the fans, like my heart just started like racing, and it's just like, whoa, it's a different feeling, I've never felt it before. And like when I went out there, Coach Grant told me to hit some kickoffs to the return guys. They were short kicks, and I kick it and I'm hitting the stands, and he's like, calm down, like just tap the ball. I remember watching him when I was little, going to Cole's camps, because he went to Cole's camps too, and there would be clips of him and stuff. That I got to spend a year with him. I would ask him questions, small questions like, Dustin, what do you do when you're on the right hash or something? Do you change stuff, and like your plant steps, stuff like that, little stuff, kicking terms. And he would tell me, and all that. I took it into this season and took in thought to, and learned from that. And it's helped me become a better kicker overall. Smart, being healthy, not taking that much kicks, just not just in the kicking aspect, but in actually like life, how to carry myself and stuff. Like everybody just looks at us and they're like, oh, you're a specialist. Like you don't like tackle, you don't do anything and stuff. But like everybody, like when I'm at practice, I'm just like, what's up, dude? Like, hey, and everybody's like, oh, like I wish I could be doing what you're doing. Like you just like kick balls, like that's it. That's all you gotta do. You don't gotta run, tackle, or anything. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I got scholarship here to kick. I didn't get scholarship here to go and hit people. Phil just giving me Bobby A. That's what I go by the specialist and stuff. But no, and maybe during the season, if when I make field goals, hopefully they call me Clutch or something. I don't know. That'd be a good nickname. I'd probably have to say have a great this year, great season. I'll probably shoot over 80, maybe 85%. Make the game-winning kicks. Do everything right. Next year, have an outstanding season again, maybe 85, 90%, and hopefully win a national championship 2 years in a row, if it's possible, and win as much accolades as I can, and shoot for the NFL after 2 years. That's the dream. My parents, my dad especially, he would always, he raised me right, looking to be successful and stuff, and if I would always do something bad, he'd give me pep talks and stuff, and you know what I'm saying, like keep me on the right track. And my mom too always kept me there. When you're a kid, you don't realize it sometimes, like, Mom, why don't you let me do this? Mom, why don't you let me do that? But I thank them now that I'm older and much more mature. I realize that, and throughout growing up, yeah, my brother too by my side, I first saw them when they put a picture of them out, like what they were gonna look like, and I was like, whoa, like, these are going to be nice. Like, I've never seen a ring that big. I've never, especially that it has a Florida State logo and everything. And when I got them, I was like, what? Like, it's just like big rocks on your fingers. And I finally got them, and then I sent them to my parents, and I told my parents, each one of you take one, and there's going to be more coming.
Welcome back to the Jimbo Fisher Show. Florida State with a comfortable lead, a 3-score advantage, or 21-0 at this point. But you get the ball, but again, I mean, this is the number 25 team in the country.
Yes.
You've got to go out and finish the deal.
Yes, we played 30 minutes of football. You're up 3 scores, but that can change drastically. And you got the ball coming out. You have to make a statement. And then, unfortunately, when we come out, we get a daggone penalty on the kickoff and get backed up to the 5. But then we end up taking the drive down. We had a big play coming off. But, it's critical to establish yourself each half and the dominance you have, and make sure, let them know we're going to play for 60 minutes.
Take a look at the second half highlights, and here is the opening kickoff and that penalty.
Good return here. We're out to the 30, 35-yard line. Great job by Kermit hitting it. Kermit, he gets more and more of these. I hope he doesn't get a lot of them, but he's getting better and better. Now we get the first play, and we got a matchup we liked on the backside, so we went right at it with a perfect ball over the shoulder on a go route. Had one-on-one on the backside. We get off the goal line, and then we get the momentum going. And he gets hot, and I'm going to tell you, great to see Christian Green get back in the action. We got him 2 or 3 big balls. And I'm going to tell you what, every ball he caught down the middle was a big play and a tough catch. Great job of going inside and making plays. Here, Jameis doing a good job. Could have dumped that down to 1, but Alexis saw the field and knew he could get by and picked up another big third down on a scramble. Again, making great decisions. Here, play action. Oh, ball gets tipped. We had a double move to Nick in the corner of the end zone, and Nick gets his first of his 2 touchdowns on the day. And Nick Larry's playing really good football for us. Here they go, dumping it underneath. Great tackle right here by Terrence. Terrence had an outstanding game. I mean, played an excellent game. And very proud. And Kenny Shaw, we did a great job on these punts, getting a hold of them. And there we got interfered as we were trying to catch it. And making good decisions back there and got a couple nice low returns. Here we get the play action. Man, we had a shot on the first play. I thought he had that daggone ball. Shad usually makes that play, and we'll throw it to him. He'll make a bunch of those. But then come back, and here's the smart, I liked right here. Right back in the middle of the field. Could have dumped it down. But again, 2nd 10, staying aggressive. He throws the ball between the hashes very well. Now we get the running game. Now we got them spread. We're throwing the football. They got to play. Now we're able to pound that football up inside. James Wilder, I thought, ran more like himself yesterday than he has probably all year. I thought really nice. Nice double move here. And Kenny Shaw, scramble rule again, just like before the half. Kenny sees him, redirects his route. See 80 going back to getting his vision, the back, and they all flowed with how he scrambled and give him a place to throw the football. And great job by Kenny with his footwork and getting his feet down.
That Jameis to Kenny scramble drill is working out pretty
well.
Yeah,
it's doing a pretty good job. But here, Dad, well, I thought we could have had him at the 5, but then Lamarcus is up running him down. We should have got him at the 5, but great job our kickoff cover team. A lot better job today and what we did last week. Again, here, they're throwing the ball down the field. Good play. They're mixing the middle of the field up. Tight end's a good player for them. Good throw by the quarterback. And there's Mario Edwards coming through. Now, I'm going to tell you what now. That's about as fine a throw and catch as you're going to see. That ball, you're perfectly covered. Great throw. Gets air on it. They did a great job there getting that ball to the receiver. Nice play right here by Nick Wason. Great to see Nick back in the ball game. Nick's playing well, doing a good job. Good blitz. There's number 20 coming, the wild man coming off the edge. Now we get a nice counter run back up inside. Now we're running the ball between the tackles, outside, getting the play actions going. Then we find KB outside. They had a route on the other side, had him one-on-one. We went back to him on the outside, a nice out route. There's James making a nice run. That's the old James now. Those 2-yard runs become 6-yard runs. Mm-hmm. Very physical. Great job of picking up the blitz. There's Devontae picking it up. Great job of keeping his eyes up. He scrambles. Kenny again on the over route. We had to post over the top, and Kenny's doing a great job getting yak yards afterwards. Here we get a nice run to Devontae back up inside. Doing a great job here. And Devontae's running hard down there. Get a play action. Oh, now he comes spinning out of here. I thought it was a sack too, and he just kept his eyes up. But I'm going to tell you this. The throw was great, but that catch right there by Nick O'Leary, on the fingertips, guys hanging over him, great job. And great job by James, keeping his eyes up, got the ball up, his strength and body control, balance and body control, and just a great play all the way across. And great job by Nick O'Leary getting him a touchdown. And we get that pooch back over here a little bit, and it hits the ground again. They got a good bounce that time. Now we're covering. Great job. We get the ball inside on the 21-yard line. Great coverage. Doing a really nice job. Nice play action by them. There's Chris Casher getting pressure. Great to see Chris in the ball game doing well again. Jacoby coming. There's DeMarcus Walker. All those guys just keep getting better and better every week. Great play right there. There's Telvin Smith again. being physical. Reggie Northup piling on right there, doing a great job. Reggie's going to be a good football player now. There's Timmy pushing the integrity of the pocket. See, look at that. That's a great throw by that quarterback. He got knocked backwards as that went in, but then great job of stripping as we tackle. Got our first fumble recovery of the year. And then Darby ran about 80 yards, but I tell you what, he about come out of here. He about come out of here. You see his skill level. Get a nice play action here. Jameis sticks it in a nice window, gets it up to KB. And, that ends Jameis's day, but I think he had 5. Look at that throw. I mean, he just drove it, knew what he was going to do with the ball, perfect coverage for what we wanted, and great read by him. Again, Casher, their quarterback, doing a good job. We got to get on the edge, very physical. Good job right there by, I think it was Nate Andrews that made the hit. Again, now here's Bobo Wilson on the back. Nice return. Bobo's going to be an electric player now. He's got a chance to be a really special player for us at receiver and returner. Again, Jake in the game. Nice throw to Isaiah Jones right now. Gets a good fit, getting that ball north-south, getting it up the field. And great to see Jake get in the game. Isaiah, these young guys are in the game. Now there's Shane Broxy, tight end, catches a nice ball. Really nice job by these guys of getting out there and playing well. They drove down, scored right. We got a field goal. Now we dump it off to Carlos again. I tell you, that guy in the flat now can be dangerous. He can be very dangerous when he gets that ball out in space. Now we had a run back up inside to Carlos. Great to see him getting his work. And he was off a little bit in the beginning yesterday. Then he got back in the groove. Nice run here, nice cutback. Then he was able to put it in the end zone with the size and speed and get the ball in the end zone. And great, keep getting him work. Great job by Jake Farron-Crew up top. Sterling Lovelady. Reuben Carter was in the ball game doing a great job. Jonathan Wallace in the ball game doing a great job. I mean, those guys are just playing really good. Miles Davis, great hit right there. We got to wrap up by Northup, but then the other guys got there. We can't let him break out. There's E.J. Levenberry in there making plays. Great job by those guys. Again, there's Dan Hicks. Very good play by Dan, E.J., Reggie Northup. Casher getting some pressure. Walker, I can't see who that was with pressure, but there's Marquez White playing corner, but who's played corner, receiver, and corner again. That guy's going to be a heck of a player. There's Blake in the game right there, making a good block. There's Keelan Smith, and this is a really good return right here by Bobo, getting the ball down the field and making guys miss and getting out and just creating field position. Jake, we have a little zone read, and he pulls it. It's like we always do. And we're supposed to hand that off, and Jake's able to run it in and just stayed basic with the football, and great job by him right there. 2 good touchdown plays by our young guys, or 2s when they got in the game. Very proud of those guys and watching them execute, and fun to watch those guys play. Rashad Golston in the ball game. He did a nice job, really practicing well for us. Again, defense. It's important for them to keep the shutout. There's Derek Mitchell in the ball game. Now we get Ryan. No, that's Freddie Stevenson. I tell you, Freddie can run that football now. Freddie's going to be a really good football player. Then we get Ryan Green. You see his athleticism, juice getting up inside, running very well. Getting all those guys in the ball game, the more experience you get them, the better it's going to be. And those guys are just playing good football right now. Fun to watch them.
Well, on a fun day, you have to be pleased just with the effort from start to finish the way you
Exactly. And we played a full game, which we challenged our guys to do. And there's Sean McGuire in the game. Great to see Sean getting some action in 2 or 3 ball games. And Randy's got a great ball club. They got a good team. And does a good job. But they got a good team. They'll have a good year. And they're a very talented team. And very proud of the way our guys played and competed in the game. And now we just got to get ready and go on to the next ball game.
Get you to 5-0, 63-0 the final. They had the most lopsided, ties the most lopsided victory by anybody all time over another ranked opponent.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
So it was certainly a great performance by your team. Go back as we look at the big play from the second half, and there's a lot to choose from, but again, and this has sort of been a theme the way these games have unfolded this year. It comes on the first drive of the second half, brought to you by Xfinity, and it's the first play after you're backed up on the kickoff.
I thought it was. We got backed up on the 5, and they can get momentum in the game. But you get a 3 and out, they get field position, get a score, it's a game. And Jameis, again, we got a one-on-one on the backside. He recognized it, went straight to it. We hit a big-time throw coming off the goal line, and it changed. They were at midfield. Now we get down and get a score, change the whole momentum. If they stop us and get it, they can get down and score. They're in 2 plays away from tying the ball game. I thought that was very critical for keeping things rolling like we had, and great play by him and Rashad. And everybody blocked it well. We ran it well and executed it. One of the things you constantly preach is that, each game it's a 1-week window. So exactly right. Despite the lopsided result, what was your message to the team after this one? Well, remember, we didn't think we practiced as well, so we didn't play as well at Boston College. Last week we had a great week of practice. We were focused. There's a correlation there. We have to stay that way. We have to stay hungry. We have to stay with a chip on our shoulder, and we have to understand the power of preparation, how important it is to win the game on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, then mentally do it on Friday, and then play it on Saturday. And remind them again and again, over and over, there's not a secret to this. It's about hard work. It's about preparation. It's about consistency and being able to do it day in, day out. And hopefully they'll continue to do that.
Well, Florida State gets the win. They go to 5-0, and FSU gets a bye week. And obviously, we know what's up next on the schedule when they do get back to playing games. And we'll talk about that date with the Clemson Tigers when we come back right here on the Jimbo Fisher Show.
Let's go behind the scenes of Seminole football with this week's Seminole Insider, presented by Hyundai.
You gotta bring it tonight. Bring that.
We gotta eat, brother. We gotta eat. 8-2-4. Hey, we gotta eat, baby. Come on, Tim. We gotta eat, baby. Let's go.
Get it, Derek. Come off the ball. Bring that team. Now, that's better. Don't rip, Derek. Kick your pass square. Right there. Come on. Control. We got to control the game. Right here. We got everything called in. We know exactly what they're going to do. Exactly. Powers, counters, they passing everything. Hit them in the mouth. Hit them in the mouth. Let's go.
Today we're joined by new quarterbacks coach Randy Sanders. And Coach, first of all, welcome inside the studio, but welcome to Tallahassee. How has it been getting to a new town, making the transition with your family?
Well, Tallahassee's been awesome. You know, it's a great city. I kind of grew up in the South. I grew up in Tennessee, but most of my family's from South Georgia. So it's a lot like being back home. You know, we've really enjoyed Tallahassee. The people have been great, and we love the city.
Growing up, obviously, you said you're from Tennessee. Where are you from there, and what made you really kind of wanted to get into football at an early age?
Well, I grew up in East Tennessee, in a little town called Morristown, about halfway from Knoxville up towards Kingsport, Johnson City. And my family was a football family. You know, I had two older brothers that both played football. My dad was a football fan. You know, anytime there was football on TV, that's what you did, and you just watched it. And once I finished playing, I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. You know, the way I see it, I've been coaching for a pretty good while now, but I'm still doing the same thing I did as a kid out in the backyard. You know, I'm still playing football even though I'm not the one actually getting hit and not sore on Sunday mornings.
So many times we hear everybody talk about it. Anybody who played high school or college football, it was 99% of them would say it's the best time of their life. How much did it teach you, not only as a football player, as growing up as a student athlete, but as a man and eventually a father you become today? Well,
football is a great teacher. You know, you learn how to deal with adversity. You learn how to fight through the tough times. You know, it's easy when things are good. It's easy when you're winning. It's easy when you're undefeated. But you know, when you have to go through the adversity of injuries, or you have to go through the adversity of just playing teams that are better. And Lord knows, last few years, I've learned a lot about that kind of adversity with some of the years we went through.
Talk about your coaching career itself. What made you want to get into it initially? What really attracted you to the coaching profession?
Well, as I mentioned, football was pretty much all I did. You know, growing up, I either wanted to be a professional fisherman or a football coach, one of the two. And the doors to being a football coach kind of opened themselves up for me. I was fortunate to have some great role models as coaches growing up. Coach Majors at Tennessee, when I finished playing, was good to give me the opportunity to get into coaching. And you know, I've just never really seen myself doing anything else. At some point I'm gonna quit and start fishing in the fall and playing golf in the fall when the leaves are changing, but not to where I can afford to do that yet.
You've mentioned throughout this whole interview about how important family is to you. You have your own family yourself now. You said a few daughters and your wife. Tell us a little bit about your family and kind of what the Sanders family is like.
Well, I do have two daughters. My oldest daughter is actually a sophomore at University of Kentucky. My youngest is a senior in high school, and she's made this transition much easier because she was getting ready to be a senior in high school, and she was ready to pack up and move. You know, she loves Tallahassee, and she's really enjoying her experience here. The people in the city and at her school have been great to her. My wife, you know, the best thing you can have is a good wife, and the worst thing you can have is a bad wife. You know, and I'm fortunate to have a really good one. Very supportive, always there for me, and always ready to do whatever's next.
How did you first get to meet Coach Fisher? What was the kind of the first interaction with him?
Well, the first time I met him was back when we were both young. I think he was in his first year, maybe his second year at Auburn. Back, what year was that, 93, 94, right along in then. And, you know, we were both young coaches in the league and kind of bonded a little bit that way. But and I've always just kind of stayed in touch and you know, been friendly back and forth. So when the opportunity came and he called me and asked me if I wanted to come, it was not something I thought about more than 10 seconds. I told him I needed to talk to my wife, but I knew what she was going to say. So the opportunity to be here and work with him has been phenomenal.
Coaching the quarterbacks now here at Florida State and Tallahassee, you've got a couple of really good young guys, Jameis Winston, Jacob Coker, Sean McGuire, even John Franklin III, very talented players. What's excited you most about seeing them kind of mature as football players?
Well, getting to know them as people. They're good individuals. They're good people. They remind me a lot of myself. You know, they're going to get their degree. They're good students, but they love playing football, and that's what they want to do. And it is nice to have the ability, but just the type of people they are makes it much more enjoyable to work with them.
Finally, what's your favorite part about coaching? What's the one thing that you really go home and I'd say, I'm glad I got to do this about coaching?
Oh, game day, no question. I enjoy the practice. I enjoy the strategy behind it. I enjoy putting game plans together. But just the game day experience of, you know, only having 10 seconds to get that next play out and trying to call the right plays. And you know, you hear golfers talk about they love being in competition because they love having the pressure. And that's kind of the thing I love most about coaching is being on the field and having the pressure of having to do the right things or make the right adjustments and things like that. It's being in those pressure situations that I think I enjoy more than anything else.
We so appreciate you joining us here in the studio, and best of luck throughout the rest of the season.
Well, Scott, thank you. Hopefully, you know, it's nice to be undefeated. Hopefully we'll stay that way for a long time.
Yes, sir. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to the Jimbo Fisher Show. Florida State gets well, it's a rarity the way the schedule unfolds this year. 2 bye weeks, and
Yes.
so this is the second one. As we look ahead, this is brought to you by Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. But it is nice to have a second bye week. You've already had one.
Oh, no doubt. And we can regroup, get our bearings, and we got to go 7 straight. And we got to work on a lot of fundamental things this week in all 3 phases. And we got to work on some things our opponents do, not just Clemson, but NC State, Miami, Florida, Syracuse, Idaho, Wake Forest, all the teams that we play. There's all little things that we'll install things in our game plans, within the next week or so that we can go back and revert back to when we have to when that week comes up. But we'll look for our future opponents. We'll get better fundamentally. We'll work a little bit on Clemson and do what we have to do to get better.
Yeah, sometimes I think the thought, the outside perception is that the team or the players are spending an extra 3 or 4 days on your next opponent, but really it's everything you do. But the coaches do get some more time to analyze tape.
Oh, we do. We definitely get more time, but we do it on all the opponents because there's not another off week. So there's little things that those other teams may do that you're worried that if you don't get this introduced now, it could take a couple days when the game time comes. So we'll introduce it now, work on it sometimes just for 10, 15 minutes a day. On different periods of the day, different situations. So when we bring it back up to them later, they understand it, got a grasp of it. This is a big picture week as much as anything. We'll get ready for Clemson and do those kind of things, but we have a big picture week this week and to be able to get ready and get better.
Well, we don't have a Jimbo Fisher show next week, obviously, because of the open week. So we're going to talk about Clemson right now, even though I know you're doing everything across the board. I guess you got to start with Taj Boyd when you talk about Clemson, who is, a Heisman candidate, a terrific quarterback.
I mean, he's been the player of the year in the conference, dynamic leader, can beat you with his feet, beat you with his arm, beat you with his head. He's tough. He's hard to sack. He breaks tackles a lot, scrambles out yards after. Then he runs the true quarterback. He'll run a counter. They'll run a power. They don't run a stretch or a zone read. They run him up in there like a tailback. This guy's a heck of a football player, a heck of a leader for him. I mean, he's a very dynamic player now.
And they've got another one that runs out there and catches passes or runs with the football, and Sammy Watkins.
They're a well-rounded. Sammy, of course, you have to know where he's at. They throw it to him quick. They throw it to him deep. They pitch it to him in reverse. He throws a pass. I mean, Sammy can do everything. Returns it. I mean, he's just a complete football player. But they have Bryant. They have the other guys, the receivers, Bryant and 17. I mean, they're big. They're lanky. They play over you. The tailbacks run hard. The line's good. They play so fast. Their schemes, the tight ends end up making plays. I mean, they're just a complete football team defensively. They've very physical up front, very good front. They can rush the passer, kicking. The kicker kicks it a mile, the punter kicks it a mile. They can return it. I mean, you're not number 3 in the country because you don't have a complete football team. Dabo does a great job coaching him and his staff, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge.
It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a great spotlight for the ACC,
yes,
too, when Florida State and Clemson get together in just a couple of weeks. All right, we'll take a break, come back with some final thoughts, so stay with us right here on the Jimbo Show.
Back, we're joined again, as always, by head chef of Florida State Athletics, Joyce Simons, and today we're going to be making a team favorite, shrimp and grits, a southern favorite, a low country favorite, but you've got a twist. It's a little bit different. It's going to make it a little bit more palatable, and again, nutritious as always.
Yes, of course, Scott. So today we're going to be making shrimp with a great seasoned rub. I call it my gullah spice. And then we're going to be making grits a little bit healthier, if you can believe that. So we'll start off by making the rub for the shrimp. We have a spice mix of kosher salt, black pepper, onion powder, granulated garlic, paprika, and celery salt. So we're going to dump that into a bowl. And then we're going to add some more flavor with ground mustard, allspice, cinnamon, ginger, and bay leaves.
And you've done something different with the bay leaves this time. You were saying you put them in a blender, and
Yeah.
that really helps when you're creating this gullah
Yeah,
rub.
so you can see here the bay leaves don't really mix. So I put it in a blender, so at the end you end up with a spice that looks like this, and you get all the flavor from the bay leaves. So once we have the spice rub made, we are going to coat the shrimp, and I'll turn on the burner. We're going to add a little bit of oil, and then we're just going to lightly coat each shrimp in this spice, and it's going to add a ton of flavor to our dish.
And shrimp are one of those foods that really, they sop up everything. So basically whatever you put on them, it's really going to taste like that rub.
Yeah, exactly. And these are really great. These are a little larger shrimp. They're 21.25s, and at the grocery store, if you see that, that's how many you get in a pound. So if you're trying to think of how many shrimp I would like for dinner, that's an easy way to guess.
And there's nothing better than fresh from Florida shrimp too. There's a coast of Florida, Gulf of Mexico. We got the best seafood around.
Shrimp.
So those are great shrimp you're using.
Okay, so you put your hand over the skillet just to see if it's hot enough. You want to feel the heat. And we're just going to lay each shrimp in. We'll move the oil around. And then we're just going to sear each side of the shrimp. And once they've seared, they'll look like this. They'll have some nice dark flavor on each side, and they're gonna be delicious with flavor. So we'll turn the heat off, and then we're gonna move to these grits. So normally grits have tons of cream, cheese, milk, butter, all those things in it. So a way to make it a little lighter for our guys, when we start off, we don't start off with water. We start off with either vegetable stock or chicken stock, because that's just a way to immediately have more flavor. Then we're gonna cook our grits, and we add a little bit of skim milk and some butter. And then something I always like to add is some fresh corn. It adds a crunch without really adding too many calories.
You have that nice texture too, because so many times grits are just so soft if you cook them down long enough.
Yeah.
That's gonna give it that great texture no matter what.
Yeah, and you wanna have some crunch with your food. Okay. So we have a nice plate here, and then we have our grits and our shrimp, and it's just going to be delicious. Okay, so a good scoop of the grits.
It's still good portion control too, which is
Yeah.
obviously always a good thing.
And then we're going to have some delicious shrimp with it. And you can just put these around the outside. This is something that's a favorite of both the players and the coaches. They like to eat it as much as possible. So.
Oh, it's outstanding.
Yeah, you'll have to give it a try.
Oh. You don't need to even ask twice.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to give it a try. These look great. And tell our viewers, how long would you normally cook these per side?
It depends on the size of the shrimp, but I would do 2 minutes on each side or until it's not translucent anymore.
Oh man, we're going to take a nice little dip at the grits right here. Got to get a little bit of both right there.
Shrimp's a good hand food.
That's great. The great thing about living in Florida too is you get great seafood like that all the time.
Exactly.
Great to taste something like that. Of course, you can find Chef Joyce's recipes online right now at Seminoles.com, the official website of Florida State Athletics. Make sure to come back next week for another one of Chef Joyce's famous recipes.
Welcome back to the Jimbo Fisher Show. Coach, just a time for a final thought here as you get into your open week, and then Clemson's obviously next. You have to like what you've seen so far, but it's a journey, and you're not even at the halfway point, really.
No, we're not to the halfway point, and we're making progress. But like I say, last week the sky wasn't falling, and this week it's not it's somewhere in between. We have to remember why we're having success, be able to repeat it, be consistent. But I'm proud of our team for the mindset we have, and we're still continuing to grow, evolve into who we're going to become. But I like the direction we're going.
From an injury standpoint, you never know, but things seem to be pretty good thus far.
Yeah, we are. I mean, you're going to have bumps and bruises, and a few guys here and there, but for the most part, we're relatively healthy, and I'm happy with that.
Florida State is 5-0, getting set for that big showdown with Clemson coming up in mid-October in Clemson, South Carolina. Coach, congratulations on a big win.
Thank you.
All righty, and we will see you next time with highlights of that game with the Clemson Tigers. We'll see you then on the Jimbo.
The Jimbo Fisher Show has been brought to you by the Florida Lottery, proud sponsor of FSU Athletics, the Florida Department of Transportation, drive sober or get pulled over, the energy-saving conservation programs of Tico Peoples Gas, Camping World and Good Sam, your one-stop shop for everything RV, Coca-Cola Zero, real Coke taste and 0 calories, the Gem Collection, finest quality jewelry, extraordinary service, and the best possible prices. SunTrust, the official bank of the Florida State Seminoles. Nick's Toggery, provider of Coach Fisher's wardrobe. By visitflorida.com. Join us next week for another in-depth look at Florida State football.
Time to play the game!